to do is we're going to do section 5.2. We're going to use linear equations in slope-intercept forms. You'll notice that we're still working on 6A standard, dealing with slope-intercept form. On Friday, what we did was we were given slope and we were given the y-intercept. Today, it's going to be a little bit different because you're going to notice that they gave us the slope sometimes, but they never gave us the y-intercept. Remember, if we have the y-intercept, x was 0. It was always 0, and it was the number that was paired with the 0 that was our y-intercept. So today, write an equation of a line that passes through point 1, 2, and has the slope of 3. Right? So what we're going to do first of all is I know my slope is 3, but I don't know my y-intercept, do I? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to find the y-intercept. In other words, it's our b. That's what we need to find. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take that ordered pair and we're going to take our slope of 3. And we're going to put it into the equation y equals mx plus b. So in my ordered pair, x is 1 and y is 2. So I'm going to use those numbers. For my y in my equation, I'm going to plug in 2. My m is going to be 3. My x is going to be 1 from my ordered pair, and I am going to try to find b, which is my y-intercept. Right? So I'm going to use my algebra magic. 2 equals 3 plus b. I'm going to subtract 3, and I end up with -1 for b. Now, just make sure, and I've had students do this today, they don't put it back together. You'll notice the directions say to write an equation. They aren't doing that. So we want to make sure that we do that. So our m was 3, and our b is -1, and I'm going to put it in the equation y equals mx plus b. So y equals 3x plus a -1, or y equals 3x minus 1. And I'd accept both. Questions? Again, they gave us the slope. They did not give us the y-intercept. So what you needed to do was you needed to use the slope, and you needed to use the ordered pair, and you needed to find where it crossed the y-axis. Once you did that, you take the slope and the y-axis, and you're going to put it in the equation. All right, let's move on. We're going to write an equation of a line that passes through 2, -3 and -2, 1. My problem is I don't have a slope and I don't have a y-intercept. I don't have either. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to find the slope. Okay? And I'm going to take these ordered pairs and I'm going to go x1, y1, x2, y2. I'll write this a little bit better here. Ugh. Try it again. Well, I tried. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to grab that lovely formula we worked with before. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Does that look familiar? Yeah, you bet. We did that before, didn't we? You're going to notice that I did a lot of pre-teaching to this. We did slope for a little while. We found y-intercept a little while. We put them together. And then we did something else on Friday where they gave you the slope and they gave you the y-intercept and we made our equation. So you'll notice I did a lot of building blocks to where we are right now. Right? So I'm going to go ahead. Y2 is 1 minus -3, because that's my y1, over x2, which is -2 minus 2. That's correct. And so I'm going to do my chop. I get 4 over -4, and I end up with -1, and that's my slope. You've done it before. We spent a whole day on slope. Now what we're going to do is we're going to find my y-intercept. Next step, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a point, and it doesn't matter which point you choose. If you do your math correctly, you'll get the same answer. So I'm going to choose the first one, 2, -3, all right? And I'm going to use my slope from the first step. And you go, well, Mrs. Medved, what happens if I get the slope wrong? If you get the slope wrong, you're going to get the problem wrong, right? But it's really important to show your work, because even though you were human and you made a mistake, the process is there, and that's the most important part. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that and I'm going to plug it into y equals mx plus b. In my ordered pair, I got x and y. So for my y, I'm going to plug in -3 equals my m, which is -1, my x, which is 2, and then my b is b. Very good. I tried to trick you. Yep. That's what we're trying to find. So I don't know what b is yet. Okay. All right. Let's move on and use our algebra magic. I get -3 equals what? -2 plus b, and then I add 2. Excellent. And I get -1 equals b. Right? Am I done yet? No. I got my slope, I got my y-intercept, and now I need to come up with the equation. And that's the part the kids are forgetting. So my m, remember, was -1. And my b was -1. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals -1, x plus a -1, or you'll see y equals -x minus 1. You'll see any of these, and any of these are fine for me. Should I put parentheses around the -1? No, you don't have to. You can if you wish. If they talk about simplest form, the second equation is in simplest form, probably the best form. Okay, good question. Any other questions? It's a process, so you just got to make sure that you go down the process. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at this one. This says write an equation of the line shown. All right. Now, what's kind of nice is they gave me a graph, so it makes it a little bit easier. Let's talk a little bit about the slope. M equals, and because they gave me a graph, I can count, right? I'm going to start with -2, 0, because it's the first point I come to from left to right. So if I go from -2, 0, I move up 2, so it's going to be 2 over, and I'm going to move to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, I can also take the ordered pairs and do my x1, y1, x2, or x2, y2, and do the whole slope thing. I can use my formula if I wish. But because they give me the graph, it's kind of easy. All right, now, I got my slope. Now I need to do what? Find my y-intercept. Can I look at my graph and find my y-intercept? Okay, what do you think the y-intercept is? Well, it's between 0 and 1. So I could say 3/4. Someone else could say, I think it's 6/7. Or someone else could say, 9/10. We don't know, do we? Okay, that's why you really need the formula. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of the ordered pairs. I'm going to pick this one. And I'm going to pick m equals 2/5 from up above. And I'm going to use my formula. And I'm going to follow the same steps that I did on the last problem. So what is going to be my y? 0 equals my m, which is 2/5, x, which is -2 plus b. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did. Make sure you're taking notes on this because you're going to get homework on this and go, oh boy, I don't remember how to do this. Okay. So we get 0 equals, multiply these two together, what do I get? Very good, -4/5 plus b. Okay, keep going. Add 4/5. Excellent. So 4/5 equals b. Okay, I got that. Now what? Write my equation. Y equals mx plus b. Y equals what? 2/5 x plus 4/5. Okay. And that's my equation. Now, go back and look at it. Does that make sense? Does 2/5 make sense? Yeah, because you counted it. It made sense. Okay, now does 4/5 make sense? Why? Why does 4/5 make sense? Some of you are like, yeah, sure, it makes sense. Well, look at your graph. Does 4/5 make sense? You say yes. Why? Because it looks like it. What do you mean it looks like it? Yeah.
Because it's between 0 and 1.
Very good. It's between 0 and 1. So that makes sense. If I had an answer for the y-intercept as 1 and 4/5, would that make sense? That would make sense because then it would be between 1 and 2. And this obviously is not between 1 and 2. So yeah, it makes sense. Questions? All right, let's go on to the last problem. You're going to notice that this is some function notation. We're going to write an equation for a linear function f that has the given values of f of -2 equals 15 and f of 1 equaling 9, right? So if you remember from before, the first function, what's the ordered pair? -2 comma 15. Very good. And the second ordered pair would be 1 comma 9. You're going to notice that you've been exposed to that before. And so if you've been doing your homework and working right along, this is like, oh yeah, I remember this, no big deal. Okay. So now what do I need to do? I need to find my slope. And how am I going to do that? I'm going to do my formula. Yep, so I got x1, y1, x2, y2. M equals, what's the formula? Over. Excellent. Okay. Y2 is 9 minus 15 over 1 minus -2. Excellent. My numerator then is -6 over what? 3. Very good. So I get -2. Now, someone mentioned last hour, they're like, well, 9 minus 15 is -4. So like they did it wrong, right? That's a human mistake. The rest of the problem would be wrong. However, when you show your work in class, even though you added wrong and got the wrong equation, the process is there. And I'm really looking at the process. The answers are important, but the process is even more important. So make sure you show your work and all your steps. Okay, so I found my slope. Now what am I going to do? Yep, I need to find my y-intercept. Okay, so what am I going to do? Pick a point. Which one do you want to pick? 1/9. I would too, because it's the smaller numbers, but it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to take my slope, which is -2. Y equals mx plus b. What's my y? 9 equals times plus, excellent, plus b, because that's what I'm trying to find. Right? I'm going to use my algebra magic. 9 equals -2 plus b. I'm going to add my 2. And I get 11 equals b. Okay? Am I done? Why not? What's wrong? That's correct. I need my equation. So my m was -2, and my b was 11. So y equals mx plus b. Y equals what? -2x plus 11, and I'm done. Please, please, please make sure that you do this assignment, because what's going to happen in the future is I'm going to take these equations and I'm going to go, okay, this is one equation. Give me an equation of a line that's parallel to it. Okay, now give me an equation of a line that's perpendicular to it. Okay, now I'll take this equation and put it in standard form. So we're going to take this stuff and we're going to use it. It's kind of like this. I'm building a snowman, right? And I did slope. So you did slope, did slope, did slope. Okay, we're going to wait with slope now. Now we're going to come over here and I'm going to give you the slope and the y-intercept, and I'm going to tell you to put it in the equation. What does it look like? Okay, we did that. Now I'm going to let it go. Now I'm going to go to the next thing. You'll notice that it's like a snowman. I'm building these snowballs and we're just sitting them. Now we're going to come together and we're going to build that snowball. Now, if you have really, really nice snowballs, what's your snowman going to look like? It's going to be magical. It's going to be beautiful, right? And it's going to be easy and it's fun and exciting. Now, let's say you try to make those snowballs and you didn't do a very good job. They're icy, they're falling apart. What is it going to be like to put that snowman together?
Not very good.
It's not going to be very good, and it's not going to be fun, and it's going to be painful. It's going to be awful, okay? So please make sure that you're working on this stuff. If you have questions, make sure you ask, because when we put it all together, I want it to be easy, and I want it to be kind of fun, right? Today, your assignment is going to be page 296. I'm going to have you do 3 through 7 odd, and I want you to do 11 to 27 odd. Now, on top of doing the homework, my expectation, gesundheit, is that you check your answers. Don't be doing these problems wrong. You learn them wrong, and then, oh my gosh, that snowman's going to be awful. Okay? So make sure that you check your answers as you go.